This week on Full Throttle TV, we sit down with top fueler Dale Worsham.
It's a great crew, you know, and they're very experienced. They've won lots of championships. Alan Johnson and Brian leading this team.
Rock out with Ron Capps.
You're at home, sitting in the staging lanes like I do. It's a real funky kind of a cool beat that'll really put you in a good mood no matter what you're doing during the day.
And catch up with 2009 Funny Car champ Robert Hight.
You know, we didn't have the greatest season last year, so we are back with a vengeance and want to get that title back.
That's all coming up on this brand new edition of Full Throttle TV. Race fans, welcome to Bristol Dragway in the 2011 Thunder Valley Nationals as Full Throttle TV takes you behind the scenes at the loudest track in NHRA drag racing. I'm your host, Abby Tubbs. Today, Full Throttle Energy Drink and FTTV will give you an all-access pass to some of the hottest storylines and biggest stars in NHRA drag racing. We'll begin our show by hearing from Allanabi top fueler Dale Worsham, who is now behind the wheel of a top fuel car after making the switch from funny car following the 2010 season. Recently, I sat down with Dale to discuss his early season success and a whole lot more. Let's take a look. I am joined with Allanabi top fuel driver Dale Worsham. Dale, thanks so much for being a part of our Full Throttle TV show today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Are you excited to be in Bristol, Tennessee at Thunder Valley?
I am, man. It's a great place to race. You know, the sensations and the noise and the ground shaking around here is just, it's like no other place.
Well, let me be the first to say from the Full Throttle TV crew, congrats on an early success this season. What are you feeding your crew? Like extra strength Wheaties?
Yeah, I wish that's all there was to it. It's a great crew, you know, and they're very experienced. They've won lots of championships. Alan Johnson and Brian leading this team, so they're doing a good job.
So you're driving your teammate Larry Dixon's car from last year. So has he asked for it back yet?
No, and then to set the record straight, it's just the chassis. It's not the engine, not the clutch, but you know, it is a good story. It's fun to talk about, but the cars are virtually identical.
Well, you won your very first race as a funny car driver at the age of 21 in Atlanta. What did that moment mean to you?
That was a pretty special moment. You know, it was over 20 years ago, so you know, you would think, you know, I'd have a hard time remembering it, but I absolutely remember every bit of it. It was pretty exciting. You know, just my dad and myself at that race, and we had kind of brought in a volunteer crew and crossing the finish line and winning that race. You know, at that point, I felt like my career was complete, but I have other goals now.
What are those goals for the 2011 season?
I have one goal, and that's to win the Full Throttle Championship at this point. So. We're off to a good start, a lot of racing to do, you know, and a lot of learning still on my part, and hopefully, you know, come Labor Day, we can put something together.
FTTV stat man Lewis Bloom has been taking note of all the twists and turns of the 2011 season this far, and is now ready to give his much anticipated mid-season report. LB, go right ahead.
Thanks, Abby. If you remember when we started the season for the Full Throttle Tour in 2011, I took a look at some of the predictions that I would make for the championship in Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Pro Stock, and right now we're standing in the pit of Alan Johnson. He was my prediction to win the Pro Stock Championship, and he finally scored a win 2 weeks ago at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in Englishtown, New Jersey. Now, I always like to pick something outside the box. I went with Erica Enders. She has had a good season. She's qualified #1. She set the national speed record, but she has yet to score a win in Pro Stock this year. Let's talk about Top Fuel. Well, I picked one of the hottest guys in the sport to win the championship. That's Spencer Massey, driving the car tuned by Todd Okahara and Phil Schuler. He's coming off back-to-back wins. But the out-of-the-box pick was Dale Worsham, and boy, that looks pretty good, as the Allanabi team driver is #1 in the points. In funny car, well, I picked Matt Hagan. That was based on his performances last year. He was runner-up in the championship to John Force, but so far, Matt has struggled to find the winner's circle this season. My out-of-the-box pick was pretty good, though, and that was Mike Neff. He's done a great job. He's been in the 4 consecutive final rounds at this point, and he's won twice, and he comfortably leads the points in Funny Car. Well, I give myself about a B in terms of predicting who's going to win the championship in 2011. There's a lot more racing left to go. We'll see what happens for the Full Throttle Championship here in 2011.
Still to come, we rock out with Ron Capps.
It's Rockin' with Ron. And there's a band I've been telling everybody about lately called Cake. I think you'll love this band.
Top fueler Terry McMillen has been a man on a mission this season, currently looking to sneak into the top 10 and reach his first ever NHRA countdown to 1. Recently, I sat down with perhaps the funniest man in Top Fuel to talk about his quest to the countdown and a whole lot more. Let's check it out. I'm joined on our Full Throttle TV set with Emily Top Fuel dragster driver Terry McMillen. Terry, thanks so much for joining us today.
I'll tell you what, man, there's nothing like going full throttle at a drag race, man, and sitting next to you, whew, you make an ugly guy look good.
Well, it certainly is hot out here in Bristol. What are you guys doing to stay cool?
Well, I just seen a whole tub of full throttle and ice over there, and I'm thinking about diving in a little bit. You want to go?
Okay.
You up for it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Can I go in my clothes? Is that okay, or should I put on my bathing suit?
Man, bathing suit would be much better. People would love to see that.
I'm gonna guess drag racing is your life. You own a team, right?
I do own a team, and actually, this is the first race where we're actually going to run 2 cars. I have a young guy, he's 24 years old. He just got his license in Charlotte, so we're going to field 2 cars here. So there's no better place than coming to Thunder Valley to make that happen and doing it with all my friends from Full Throttle, man. It is going to be a blast today.
And last year in 2010, you missed the countdown by 20 points. So what is your team
19,
do?
19.
I'm sorry,
19.
excuse me.
Because that haunts me every night, you know.
My facts were wrong, 19 points. What is your team doing to keep you in it this year?
Well, they made me go on a diet. To get my food now, I have to chase the golf cart around with a hot dog attached to the back of it. And they said, come on, Tubby, run and get that hot dog if you want your dinner. So that's how I keep my weight down. That's why I'm looking, it's almost as good as you, but it's going to take me another 5 years maybe.
Well, Terry, you know my last name is Tubbs. So they can start calling you that, you know.
They do call me that, but I still don't look as good as you. That's a problem. But, you know, it's a lot of work and dedication, you know. We got a taste of it, and we got more wins this year than we had last year. So we're motivated, and as long as we keep winning some rounds, you know, this old fat boy's going to have a chance.
Well, I have to say that you have one hell of a crew. They won the Hardworking Crew Award twice last year. So what did you guys do to celebrate those victories?
Well, instead of buying new parts like we should have probably did, we all went on a cruise last year, took the whole team, all the friends. I tried to get you guys tickets to go to, but they wouldn't let me.
What
I'm sorry.
That about?
Yeah, I don't know how that worked, but we did win it, and we took like 14 people on the cruise, all their spouses, girlfriends, what have you, mistresses, and it was awesome. And we had a blast, and we were out there for like 5 days, and you know, we're fixing to win a couple more of them this year so that we can do something a little different, maybe go parachuting or something.
So what are the goals for the 2011 season for Terry McMillen?
To get in the top 10, qualify for that, have the chance to win the championship, and then we're going to throw the kitchen sink at it. I mean, if I got to get a job working as a greeter some store, I will do that, but whatever it takes.
As the countdown to 10 approaches, our very own Lewis Bloom has been watching the standings closely and is now ready to weigh in on which drivers are currently on the bubble. LB, who's in and who's out?
Abby, it's time to talk about points. Remember, only 10 drivers make the countdown. They're the only drivers with a chance to run for the championship. And one of the guys who's really trying to make a move will be Tim Wilkerson, who is now number 11th in the funny car points. He's surrounded by Jim Head, Tony Pedregon, who has struggled this season. And how about Ron Capps, Bob Tasca, and Johnny Gray all on the bubble trying to make the countdown in funny car. Truly the most competitive class once again this season. Taking a look at Pro Stock Car, pretty much it's Ron Krischer, Ronnie Humphrey, the KB team, and V Gaines. They'll battle it out for that number 10 spot. And I do believe Ronnie Humphrey's got a race car who could make the countdown and maybe even run for the championship. That car's got a lot of power. In Top Fuel, Bob Vandergriff has been running well of late. He's making a move. He's number 11, David Grubnick right behind him. And the guy in the bubble, Terry McMillen, who has got to fend off those very, very tough race cars. Whether you're number 1 or number 10, the championship can be won. That's what makes full throttle drag racing so much fun.
You're rocking with Ron. Everybody, welcome back. It's Rockin' with Ron. And there's a band I've been telling everybody about lately called Cake. I think you'll love this band. Anytime you put it on, whether you're going down the road in your car, you're at home, sitting in the staging lanes like I do, it's a real funky kind of a cool beat that'll really put you in a good mood no matter what you're doing during the day. It's got a new song called Long Time. And I know you'll know this song from the radio, but trust me, the whole album is great. What would Abby Tubbs listen to? Well, I often wonder that, walking through the pits and watching her do her Full Throttle stuff. I would picture Abby having anything in her iPod have to do with cute guys. Keith Urban, Kid Rock, that kind of stuff. But I bet she secretly probably sits down and listens to Ozark Mountain Daredevils. I picture her as that kind of a kind of a girl. So you can't hide from me, Abby. I know what you're listening to. Everybody's got their standbys in their iPod. For me, one of the greatest ones I can always go back to and guarantee that will get me pumped up in the staging lanes is Judas Priest, British Steel. It's got some of the best music they ever put out. It's old school, and they even went on tour last year. I went and saw the tour, and they played the whole tour, the whole concert, from first song to last song, just like the album was. So, guaranteed, you put that on, you'll be stuck right back in the 80s.
Stick around, because in a few minutes, I sit down with 2009 Funny Car champion, Robert Hight.
And it's really the behind the scenes of the crew and that car being put together and the hard work that the fans don't see that makes these championships possible.
JFR Funny Car driver Robert Hight is off to a solid start this season. Racking up round wins and taking home Wallies, the 2009 champ is on the hunt for another Full Throttle championship. Recently, I sat down with Hight to talk about his quest for another title and a whole lot more. Let's check it out. We are joined on our Full Throttle TV set with JFR Funny Car driver Robert Hight. Robert, thanks for being back with us again.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting. Good to be here in Bristol. Having lots of fun so far.
So you're the 2009 Full Throttle champion. Does that ever get old?
No, except for that was in the past, and I didn't do it in 2010, and so I want to get it back in 11. You know, we didn't have the greatest season last year, so we are back with a vengeance and want to get that title back.
Well, JFR, I have to say, is doing pretty good between you, between Mike Neff and John. What's going on with the dynamic of the team?
Well, that's what it's all about, it's a team. And we stay together, we work together, and it's all one, fighting for a championship and fighting for the wins. And we just really work good together. It's a good chemistry, good team. And as long as we stay that way, I see a lot of success in our future. You know, we just got our 200th win. I mean, that's amazing in one class. And like I said, I think we can get to 300 if we stay together and work as a team.
Does it help having such a great relationship with your crew chief?
It does, yeah. Yeah, he's my best friend. You know, my wife even gets mad that he and I are always talking on the phone. You know, even if we're on vacation, it's he said, my wife always says, that's like your wife. But you do. John taught me that in the early beginnings. Get close to your crew chief, you know, become his brother. Like John and Austin, you know, they didn't win 130 races for nothing. They were a good team, and that's what I'm trying to build with Jimmy Prock, and I see a great future for us.
Do you think since you started as a crew guy and then became a driver that you have a little more closeness and you're a little more sympathetic with your crew guys out there?
Big time. And I try to keep it that way. You know, I always try to come into a race early and go out to dinner with them, hang with them at the track on Thursdays, just be part of it, because, you know, the driver and the crew chief get a lot of attention, and it's really the behind the scenes of the crew and that car being put together and the hard work that the fans don't see that makes these championships possible.
So what's the ultimate goal for Robert Hight and his team in 2011?
I won 4 races last year, which was an all-time high for me, just at the wrong time. I won them not in the countdown. Didn't even win a round in the countdown. But, you know, I want to win 6 to 8 races, and I'm already on my way. We've got 3 so far, but it's all about timing. We've got to get our act together, and that's what we're working, honing in on everything we need to do now so that those wins come in the countdown.
You know, the NHRA has a lot of great sponsors who put on a lot of fun things for the fans to do at Nitro Alley, and we are going to go check it out as well. and you never know who we may run into. Well, we're at the Army Strength and Action Zone, and look who I ran into, Mr. Tony Schumacher. And Tony, I think I'm going to challenge you to a pull-up contest.
This is my world, man. This is the Army place. This is where our soldiers are. Drill Sergeant Grant back here, he ain't gonna let me lose. He's gonna teach you how to do it, but he's gonna motivate me. You can chin by the bar, go right now. Big.
Well, I lost.
And I won.
I got 0 pull-ups, and Mr. Tony Schumacher got 12. So, congrats. Well, I stopped by the Harley-Davidson display on Nitro Alley, and look who I ran into, my old buddy Clay Milliken, and he's gonna race me and test the reaction time on these Harley-Davidson bikes. Now, you're a Top Fuel driver, so can you do the bike?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No.
Let's do it. You're going down. I mean, I'm getting into this. Oh! All right, he beat me. And now we're at my favorite place in Nitro Alley, the Full Throttle display. There's a lot of fun things to do here, like sample Full Throttle. Cheers, cheers. Man, now I feel the energy at work. Woo! We are here at the Fram Midway display with Top Fuel driver Spencer Massey. Spencer, what all can you do out here? It's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I mean, when you come over to the Fram display, you get to look at the Christmas tree and hit the gas and actually see what your action time is, just like you're leaving the starting line, just like I do.
So can we make this a competition then?
Let's do it.
Okay, bring it on. 045.
045. You want to beat that?
Bring it. 021. 021. Stick around because there's even more Full Throttle TV excitement still to come.
One of the aspects that really drove me to the mechanical side is that the more you know about the race car, the better driver you're able to be.
Lewis Bloom is certainly a man who knows all the facts and figures from NHRA's past and present. And now with another one of his favorite moments from drag racing history, here's our very own Professor Bloom. Statman, take it away.
This week, the 60th anniversary moment is all about the ladies of drag racing. We're standing in Melanie Troxell's Pro Mod pit. More about Melanie in a bit, but it really goes back to 1966 when Shirley Shahan won the Winter Nationals in Top Stock, the first of 54 women to win in the sport of drag racing. They've won in the Full Throttle Series, also in Pro Mod, and of course the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. Now when you talk about Melanie, right here at this racetrack back in 2008, she made history when she won in Funny Car over Mike Neff, becoming the first female to win in both classes. Since then, she's also won in the Pro Mod category. She's set records, and back in the late 90s, she won in Top Outlaw Dragster. She's actually won in 4 categories. Of course, the championships have won by the ladies, Shirley Muldowney, the greats of all time, and Angel Sampé, Angel Drago now in Pro Stock Motorcycle. But I can tell you one thing, I know Melanie Troxell pretty well, and all she wants to be known as is one thing, and that is a drag racer.
Leah Pruett LeDuc has been drag racing her entire life. However, here in 2011, she has finally begun seeing some results on the sport's biggest stages. Our cameras will follow as she prepares for her ultimate goal, driving a nitro funny car in the NHRA. A rising young star with the drive to be the best and prove doubters wrong. Here's our latest installment of hard work and dedication with Leah Pruett LeDuc.
Drag raced basically my entire life since I was 8, but it's from home and with your family, and there's a big difference between just doing that and then making it your entire life.
What was once a hobby is now a full-time profession, and as a young face in a sport filled with elder statesmen, Leah is looking to carry drag racing into the future.
You know, the younger generation drivers, we do need to help bring the NHRA into this other phase with a new audience or a growing audience, because things can't be the same. We're here, you know, to make ourselves successful in a sport and to make this sport grow, because that, to me, NHRA is the world.
Leah's world recently changed after signing a deal with R2B2 Racing. But with little professional driving experience on her resume, some critics may be questioning the move.
You know, if you really pay attention to how someone like myself, you know, how I'm getting to accomplishing my goals, really has nothing to do with how I look. I at least want to be able to know what's going on with the race car and how to work on it and have intelligent conversations with my crew and crew chief. And one of the aspects that really drove me to the mechanical side is that the more you know about the race car, the better driver you're able to be.
Let her move on the starting gate for Leah. Here comes the turbo entry, but at the finish line stripe, it's going to be Leah. Pruett, LeDuc.
And while Leah has fought hard to earn respect in the sport, no opinion was more important than that of veteran racer and new teammate Melanie Troxel.
I've seen Leah out around the track for quite a few years, but didn't actually meet her until she was coming on board with the team. And it was kind of nice when I first got the chance to talk to her to really get to know her and find that I found a lot of similarities between the two of us.
I'm kind of looking to her like a big sister, and I think that's a really cool dynamic, and that's something I would have never expected, to be teammates with Melanie Troxel in Pro Mod and maybe someday in Funny Car.
The list of good first impressions does not stop with Troxel. Longtime crew chief John McMillen has also seen promise in the young racer.
What I find in Leah, she's got what I can see as a ojo de la tigre. It means the eye of the tiger.
We're getting myself ready as a driver for when the situation comes to start a second team with John McMillen as a crew chief, that we can just hit the go button and enter a race and get the team together and, you know, start competing.
I think she's got a very sensitive feel for the race cars. We see that in the Pro Mod. She's able to guide the car down the racetrack. She does a very good job, so it's all very optimistic right now. I think she's going to be a bright star in NHRA's future.
Success in full throttle drag racing seems imminent for Leah. However, even she is having a hard time believing the future starts now.
You want something for so long and you strive for it and it's all you work for years and years, and then when it finally happens, you don't, I don't know, everyone else is seeing it. They're like, hey, this is really cool, what you want is finally happening, and I'm like, it is? Are you sure? Because I don't know, I'm still coming to reality to it, and just, I'm excited for it.
If you missed any part of our show, you can always catch full episodes online at NHRA.com.